Mandalorian Episode 8. That
Season
was
finale.
that was a good conclusion to the actual series. I thought it was really well done.
Not series, season.
My
Good
bad.
conclusion to
My
this
bad.
season.
My bad, Ferrari.
Jeez.
So it was well done, and I made sure to have my daughter watch it and son watch it, even when I wasn't there. They usually hold off saying, "Do you need to watch it?" Because you're gonna have a question at the very end of what the hell that thing was, and spoilers because we are gonna talk about this.
Yes,
so here's
we're
your
gonna
5 second
talk
spoiler warning. All right.
Okay.
The leader
good.
of the Mandalorians always has that black saber, and he used to Moff or whatever his fucking name is, used to run the actual Empire side of that planet or where they originated from.
Whoa,
So he
whoa,
stole
whoa.
that fucking lightsaber as a historical item from the Mandalorians, but tradition states that whoever has that lightsaber runs the Mandalorians. They are the leader of the Mandalorians.
Okay.
Go.
Didn't
Go.
know that. Didn't know that. Let me process this. So
Go ahead.
I guess we're gonna start at the end of the episode because why
Oh,
not?
I'm sorry. It's a fucking
okay.
big deal.
That's fine. That's fine. We'll start at the end. So when he was obviously when they zoomed in on, I was like, oh, he's alive, whatever. And then he started cutting himself out. And at first, I'm like, is that just a really bad CGI lightsaber? Like, what is it? It looks like a sword that has like white around it. I was like,
It's a
I'm
black
so
lightsaber.
confused. Yeah. So it looks like it's a black sword with white light around it. Is what it looked like when I watched it. So I was really confused. But I knew it meant something. I just didn't know what until you just said it. So you said that the person who has that lightsaber is the leader of
the Mandalorians, basically, and I believe one of the I can't remember the exact animated one. Please, somebody in the comments, go ahead, like always, fucking bash me. They actually had that lightsaber. I think it was I want to say up to at least 1 year after the fall of the Empire. It might have been 1 year before or the episode 6. I can't remember, but there's a 1 year gap where you see who owns that lightsaber. Now he has it, which we don't know if they killed that person or what, but judging by the Mandalorian when he was talking, saying he knows my name, that is so and so, that is Moff, and he knows him exactly. He's like, he used to run the Empire side of the planet, etc. before he got promoted. They were stealing. They were like the Nazis. They were like stealing relics and historical figures and historical shit from the Mandalorians. And he obviously got that, but the tradition of that lightsaber is whoever owns that runs the Mandalorians. That's why he knew his name. That's why everything about him prior. He said nobody's actually known my name since before I became a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And by the way, I know this is jumping a little because that's me.
fine.
You got to see your fucking face, didn't you?
I did. I was so excited. He's like, no living creature in the robot's like, I'm not living. I was like, that's true. That's true. So I was like, yes, we got the helmet off for just a second, but I'm so happy.
So sad.
I actually really enjoyed this little side piece where after they grab the two stormtroopers grab Baby Yoda or Little Green, and they're waiting to like enter the city, and they're just sitting there like shooting the shit.
Yeah.
And I was like, I loved it.
I thought it was great too.
I was very pissed off when they hit Baby Yoda. I was like, no,
Twice.
no.
I was on the phone. I was on the phone with my daughter. I was like, you got to watch at least the opening of this. So I'm listening to the chat between. I'm driving up to Chicago, and I'm listening to the chat between the two stormtroopers. And when you hear the thud when he hits Baby Yoda, my daughter goes, and got so pissed.
Yes, I was pissed. But you know, one of those. I don't know if you'll know his name.
I saw the screenshot, of him in the suit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Of him in the suit. He was a cameo, but it was him in the suit. Go ahead.
Okay. Do you know his name?
No. I don't know
Jason. It's not. I want to say Sudoku. That's not right. But he's a comedian, and I've seen he's in a bunch of stuff, and I love him. But I was like, I know that voice. Where is that voice? Anytime I see a stormtrooper now that's having dialogue, I'm always like, who is it? Who is it? Because it's always somebody. If a stormtrooper is having more than like one line, then it's usually somebody who's a big fan and is in the show or the movie or stuff. So I really enjoyed those little cameos. But I did enjoy the banter of just the two stormtroopers, because these are the ones who are not part of the new crew that came in. These are kind of the ones that are just like being
the refugee kind of
and they're
guys.
just like whatever, and he's like, I just want to see it. Like he's making up all these excuses. And I was like, I love this moment. It's such a simple, like quiet moment, but it gave me that feel of like, it wasn't nostalgia down my throat. It wasn't
any kind.
It just fit in with what you think. Oh, and then when they were practicing their shooting and they kept missing and they're just
Hilarious.
like, geez, like, and you're like, is it the guns? Is it not the stormtrooper?
No, we saw.
I know. The other episode we saw, actually in the movie,
they slid Chewbacca a gun. Chewbacca picked up the gun and started popping motherfuckers. Pow, pow, pow.
Yeah.
So it's the stormtroopers.
It's their helmets.
The episode 6, dude got pissed off when he was like, "Oh, you're a stormtrooper." He's like, "I wasn't a fucking stormtrooper," because he got mad saying that their accuracy isn't shit. So he got mad about that. They're known for it throughout the galaxy and real life.
I loved it when Baby Yoda is on the front of the robot. It's just like, wee! And I was like, you're so cute. Now to give props, by the way, this was directed by Taika Waititi, who does the robot and did Thor Ragnarok, which you were not a fan of Thor Ragnarok.
Well, it was forced humor all over the fucking place. I didn't like it. That's the reason why.
Yeah, but he directed this episode. Jon Favreau obviously created the whole series and wrote this episode, like he did most episodes. But Taika Waititi, I thought it looked great. I loved a lot of the shots. I felt like were very classic Star Wars shots.
Is there a reason why he did this episode, aka he wrote his own death?
I don't know why he decided to do this episode. They might have wanted him to do this episode just because of his name is so big, and season finale directed by Taika Waititi.
That's probably more a reasonable answer, yeah.
Yeah, but it didn't feel over the top forced humor.
Correct.
But there were little moments like the happy Yoda, like riding with the robot and everything. Like I love that.
I did like the blacksmith getting her whoop ass on for a minute.
Oh yes.
I liked how they showed that because they showed their faces above ground, they came in and cleaned house on those motherfuckers, and all the Mandalorians that were there to protect them are gone.
Yeah.
So that the repercussions of your actions.
That was a really sad shot when he walks in, he's looking for the Mandalorians, and
all
the helmets are laying there. And I'm like, did they all die?
Yeah.
Like,
no, they just took off their helmets, all showed their faces, and left. That's what happened.
Is it?
No!
Oh, I was
they're dead.
Like, what?
No, they're dead.
That was my first instinct, was that they're dead, and I was just like, oh my god.
So there's by the way, one of the scene where they're in the lava and the droid R2 droid stands up and has like the big arms and legs and everything and starts going down. It reminded me of a video game where there's literally like a little dog, and then you're like, oh, it's a little dog, and there's a scene where it's just a little dog. I forgot the name of it. It's a popular fucking game. Undertale. And it's a little dog, and then the dog stands up and it comes out of the ground, and it's like fucking ripped and big arms and legs. It reminded me of that when that droid stood up out of the coal and lava or whatever. So it's just a video game reference, I guess.
I like how they also did his initial programming. I like how with the programming with the robot, it was back to foreshadowing back in the very first episode, the explosion and everything.
Right.
But no, I loved it. I thought overall this was a great episode. We got to see his past, which you could kind of put that together. Like, obviously,
that's why he hates droids.
Yeah, that's why he hates droids. But at the end, he actually kind of had a respect for this one droid who saved his life.
I did like them introducing his backpack finally, or the jetpack. Basically, him earning it. I wish it was a little bit more gelled smoothly. It felt a little like, hey, you're ready for it. Here's a backpack. 2 minutes later, using the backpack to save the day. I wish it was a little more handed out. Maybe at the beginning of the episode when he sees all the helmets or something, and he's talking to the blacksmith, and she's like, hey, so-and-so, the guy who was flying beside him, wanted you to have this, or something like that, and gave it to him at that. I mean, she gave it to him at that point, but a reason behind it.
I don't think you needed to have a reason behind. Like, it didn't need to be one of his friends that we met for 5 seconds.
I know, but it was just instead of being like, hey, they're all dead, nobody else can use it.
No, it was his time. He got his seal, he got his jetpack. Like, it was kind of like a promotion.
Because he only got promoted because there are others are dead?
That's not true. I think he's earned it. They even talked about how, like, basically he's Little Green's dad. That's how Little Green sees him until he gets him back to
How
his
about that
people.
new mission, by the way?
Yes, which I'm liking that mission, which I'm glad they didn't take away. Like you were talking about, oh, Little Green's not even going to be in season 2. I'm like, Little Green better be in season 2. So yeah, the whole mission about finding his people, because we don't know anything about his people. And again, they reference the Force. They referenced the Force.
The Jedis. They said Jedi.
They said Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
And she knew a little bit, but they still didn't say the Force. But she said the basically wizards.
Yeah. Space wizards, which is hilarious. Throwback.
Yeah. But so he's like, you want us to return him to our enemy, or what? But I don't. Are they like? Because correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know from like comics or the books or anything like that, but are the Mandalorian and the Jedi or Yoda's people, like, are they like enemies?
Yes. The Mandalorians were conquering planets and expanding their empire, and the Jedi stepped in to battle them and put them into their fucking place. And there was a literal war, the Mandalorian War, where it was Jedis versus Mandalorians.
So when you see him as a kid, his planet's being invaded, or at least his town is being invaded by droids,
right.
And the Mandalorians save him.
Mm-hmm.
So in his eyes, they're the good guys, but so they haven't always been the good guys. Well, because in my eyes, the Jedi are.
Think of them like Saiyans.
Okay.
That's kind of what the Mandalorians are. Think of them like the Saiyans of the Star Wars universe. They are warriors. They're a proud people. They're a race that wants to expand and grow, and they cross paths with the Jedi. I mean, the Jedi try to stay out of it as much as possible, I believe, until they started taking over Republic systems, and then the Jedi had to step in, and it was a big old ordeal. So,
and that's why they kind of have.
That's why they're an enemy. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I hope we see, and I'm assuming we will in season 2. We'll see the girl again. I'm still glad they didn't create a love interest between the two of them. Mm-hmm. I like that they're just soldier buddies.
Yeah.
I hope they keep that. But I love her. I love her. She's such a badass. Like, I hope she shows up again. She's just awesome. I don't know why anybody would hate on her.
I'm looking forward to new adventures and new people and new characters being introduced. Basically, it's a lot of the new Star Wars got rammed because it was a rehash of the original trilogy we liked. In this instance, I wouldn't mind not an exact rehash, but kind of the side quests, the small missions, the growth of the characters. I really like how this season was actually built, where it didn't seem like main progression of the story until the last couple of episodes. It all started kind of clicking and falling into place, and everything that you've learned in the past somehow had meaning. I want that to continue. I wouldn't mind new faces and new people and new
You only have 8 episodes. So you only have
Have they confirmed only 8 episodes, 30 minutes long again? Because I think they should bump it up to at least 12. Even if you keep it at 30 minutes, I'd like to have at least 12 episodes, something a little bit longer. I want a little bit more in-depth growth with them. I'm looking forward to the upcoming season. I really liked how they ended it with the lightsaber and Moff basically saying, "Let's roll."
Like, obviously, he's gonna be the main. He's gonna be chasing them down again.
It's Breaking Bad.
Okay, I don't get that reference because I haven't seen it. Don't hate on me.
Oh my God,
I'm sorry.
That's right. Everybody, this is your one opportunity. She has never seen Breaking Bad.
I'm sorry.
I get all this shit. I hope they finally watch this long enough to be able to get on about that.
All right, so I just sent you a link, by the way. I want to hear your top, out of 8 episodes, I just want to hear your top 2 episodes. Which ones were your favorites? You don't even have to put them in order. You can give me 3. You don't have to put them in order. But give me, like, which ones were you're like, I love this episode, I love this episode, and I love this episode. Those are my top 3. They don't have to be in any kind of order. Not going to put that pressure on you because I know you don't like making lists.
I didn't plan this at all.
I know. It was last minute. But, like, which ones were the ones that kind of stood out to you that were just like, I love this episode?
I really liked The Child. Not because you got your first doses
Episode 2.
Yes. Not because you just got your first doses of Baby Yoda. I like him, but I'm not oh my God, his eyes are so pretty. He's so great. I love this show because of him. I'm not like that. I like the Jawas. I liked the Kusa, the egg, or Suka. That's it. I like the egg. I like him lifting up the rhino, which is now his fucking signet. I liked that episode. That was probably my favorite episode in the series, through and through.
I didn't think that was that good of an episode, to be honest.
The other one I enjoyed was probably Chapter 6, The Prisoner, showing a little bit of his past and the people he used to roll with.
I really liked that episode. I was going to say that was one of my top 3 because I liked the I know it was another side quest. It had nothing to do with the real story, in the fact that, like, you know, they're just going to get a prisoner. But I liked the feel of Star Wars. Like, that felt so Star Wars to me. Like, on the ship, on the ship, and the gang trying to, like, get somebody out, like, sneaking around the ship. Like, I really enjoyed that one. That one was one of my top 3.
Okay.
Obviously, this episode, I really enjoyed this episode, episode 8, the season finale.
Who do you think the gunslinger was? In the gunslinger, the guy who walked up with the spurs and the cape and the boots. Because I'll be honest with you, from what I'm hearing, they're trying to make people believe that it's actually Boba Fett. Technically, Boba Fett did get out of his pit because it is on Tatooine. Remember?
Yes, at the end of episode 5, the gunslinger. This is when he goes to try to collect the bounty and everything. The guy turns on him and kills the girl, and then we see somebody at the end. We're like, who is this tracking him? And I don't think we've met that person yet.
We haven't. What I'm afraid of is they want you to believe it's Boba Fett, but I'm really hoping they don't do the thing where they hold off on it until they realize that their ratings are slipping or something starts suffering, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, by the way, it's Boba Fett. Hey, and try to rekindle it, because that feels like a Walking Dead moment to me, where when Walking Dead gets fucking boring, they say, oh, look out now, there's another town, and they eat people. They try to just rekindle something and try to get you reinterested. Or it's like, oh man, this season kind of sucked, but next week somebody you love is gonna die. You know, I don't like that shit. So I really hope they just didn't have time to put it in this season, and I hope it's a long turn of him coming in towards the end of next season, or he is tracking him for whatever reason, good or bad, I don't care. I just don't hope they are sucking the teat of Boba Fett to try to keep ratings up when they start suffering. That's what I'm really hoping for.
All right. Well, yeah, I would say episode 6 and episode 8 were my top 2. Every other episode was good. I mean, there wasn't a bad episode that I was just like, this episode's crap, but
they were all enjoyable, and it was all relaxed. Like I said, one of the great things about this series is that the movies, you go in with an expectation. This is a movie, it's a big fucking deal, these are my standards. But being this TV show, you go into it and it's more of a relaxed, calming, let me enjoy myself setting. And they really played on that incredibly well. We did have those moments of, I don't know if this show's going to get to a fucking point. But now that at the end everything started falling into place, it gives me confidence in the future to enjoy each episode for what it is. So I'm really looking forward to this. And when does the next stuff come out? Do we have any dates?
It will be in 2020. We don't have an exact date yet.
Okay.
I'll double check that, and if it is, I'll put it on the screen and edit it. But right now there's not an exact date. Just next year sometime.
Sounds good.